Hey everyone, welcome to this episode of After Laughter. I'm here with Mike Perkins. Say hello, Mike.
What's up? Thanks for having me, Will.
Yeah, anytime. We're about to watch a set of yours. Let's start this thing.
I was telling a story the other day. My ex-girlfriend thought I was in the mob for like a year. And like, I'm not. But you know, I'm not in the mob. Everyone just thought I was. Like, he's playing everything. But she thought I was in the mob for like a year. I never told her, but she always thought like, because I worked at a casino too, so she like I rised up real quick too.
This is a story that actually happened to me. It's just I never actually fleshed it out into a joke itself. So I just started telling the story. You know, after this, I polished this into like an actual like setup punch
Yeah.
kind of. You know, instead of being like, I was in a casino, yeah, then this, you know, kind of like all over the place.
And I paid everything in cash, and she's like, you don't have like whatever. But like, we got in this fender bender, and I was like real pissed off because we're at a red light.
It's funny you say that because when I was watching it, I was noticing that there'd be like a section of like 20 seconds of lull, and then there'd be like capitalize on it, capitalize on it, capitalize on it, and I was gonna be like, oh, I wonder how much we can turn that 20 seconds into jokes in there, so that it's like jokes and then, but it makes sense now that you're saying that's why this is what it is in the video.
And so I hit this guy, and I was like, fuck, I was like freaking out at the guy. So I was like, please don't fucking pull over, please don't pull over, please don't pull over. And he pulls over, and my girlfriend thinks, it's fine, just get out of the car and give me your insurance. I was like, no, fuck this, what the fuck?
Yeah, you're going a mile a minute right now. It's just, it's not boring. Like I'm engrossed in the story, I'm invested, but I have no time to laugh.
Yeah, exactly.
So I get out of the car.
I love that. A lot of people are like, stand-ups shouldn't laugh at their own jokes, but I like when stand-ups laugh at their own jokes. Because it makes you feel more personal. It sort of says like, hey, it's okay to laugh in this situation. I feel like it's, as long as it's not interrupting the flow of the set, it's a good thing to do.
You should be having fun on stage, even with your own material. Like, I'm feeding off the crowd where like they're laughing with me. I mean, I'm gonna laugh too. I love laughing on stage. That's the best part of it.
It should feel like a dialogue. You're just doing most of the talking. And I feel like that laughing with the audience and having that back and forth energy really helps just like stand up overall.
And this huge, like, 6'5" black guy, like huge, jacked, gets out of the car and he looks at and nothing happened to the bumper. And he's looking at the bumper and I pull out cash, I peel off like 120 bucks, right? And I give it to the guy and he looks at the money, looks at me, looks at the money, looks at me, and gets back in his car, right? I get back in the car, my girlfriend's like, what the fuck was that? What was that? And I was like, no, don't worry about it, we gotta get out of here. The cops are gonna come. And she's like, what are you into? Who are you? The most confident you can ever feel. I was at the, like... Great,
so how do we feel about that big laugh and then the acting into it as the wave is riding of the laughs?
That's why I love this video myself so much. I love my interviews. I watch them all the time.
Like, has that joke evolved?
I tightened up the whole beginning of it.
Yeah.
Too. I talk about the casino a little more because I actually fed this into. I do have jokes about the casino, working the casino. So I kind of made this kind of a middle part of that. I think everyone kind of does the same thing. You start to find little pieces of your set that you can add into older jokes or different jokes, so you can all like segue into them. But they should all be their own little segments themselves too.
What I like about the current performance is you get high energy, which makes the audience feel permissible that they can get high energy. Like a lot of comics, I know so many comics that try to deadpan and be like, here's my joke, here's my joke. And they're surprised that the audience isn't giving them standing ovations, but it's like, you haven't given them any energy, so they're not gonna give it back. I like when comics can naturally go high energy because it sort of allows the audience to match that with their laughter.
The highlight of my life. I was like, yeah, don't worry about it, sweetheart. You know what I mean? What do you want? That's what I'm... So good. So good. Love it. I just turned 32. Yes. Anybody else in their 30s? Yeah. Anybody else in their 30s and emotional? Yeah. In the back, you guys said, yes, we are. We're emotional.
You don't want to put the audience on the spot, like, how's there, I don't know, like, how's the food tonight, huh? You know, like, kind of like a setup like that, but I think if you get a reaction, like I said, like, just turned 32 and people scream, I'm like, oh, cool, anybody else in your 30s, huh?
Personally, I love a good pander because it makes it feel like a conversation instead of just a performance. I love it because it inspires the audience to sort of like speak up and feel okay with making noise and then later laughing. I always try to, if I ask a question, to have the own answers. Like, anyone else 32? Oh yeah, I hate being 32. So like, if there is no answer, I can just plow right through it.
The question should just be something that kind of segues you into the next whatever you're going to talk about. It's kind of like how people have crowd work thing. It's like, oh, how long you guys been married? Okay, yeah, I just got married.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
I love being open like that too, man. I mean, have the audience be open too instead of just stiff and just be like, this is it, this is it.
Yeah, I'm so emotional in my 30s. I don't know what's happening. Like I was driving last week and Ed Sheeran's Castle on the Hill song came on the radio. Come on, Amber, doesn't that hit you, right? Doesn't that hit you? Come on. I'm just driving, it's like, come on.
I love that. I love that simple of like, this could just as easily just been more exposition, but by using that audience member and having an interaction, we get a laugh along the way to the laughs that we actually planned for.
Away, driving at 90. I'm like, I'm driving at 90. You get me? Turn this up, will you? Please. I'm doing 90. Should I have both hands on the wheel? What am I doing right now? What is happening? This is going to cause an accident. What is this? Heads in the crowd.
So what I love about this is it's still pretty fast, but the difference between this speed and the other speed is this is fast, but it leaves those placeholders to laugh, and it's like riding that wave of the laughter.
I love doing that. Like sometimes they don't. Like I love the little in between. Like this one, I was like, let me put this. Okay, I don't even know what I said. I just mumble a little bit, but sometimes that mumble, I think, gets a laugh just from someone that didn't really catch the rest of it. You know, I learned that. You know, sometimes you can have just a joke that just kind of sprays and gets just a couple like ha ha ha, you know, kind of thing. But if you can like just focus on one person and their hysterical laughing, that's way more beneficial. And like I think my little quips that I usually do, sometimes I hate them. Like I shouldn't like talk in between, you know, I should just kind of do like this, but like I don't know, sometimes the talk in between I think might lead into something else because that gets a laugh itself, you know?
That's another one of the hard parts of stand-up is like there is no right answer. Should you always just stick to material? Should you always do little, it's like it's gonna depend on the audience, what happened before you, what club you're at, how drunk the audience is. Like there's no definitive right or wrong. In the first 2 minutes, how do you think the first 2 minutes of the set went?
I think it went great. Just for the fact that I got like a huge laugh from that mob story that I never did, because it was such an organic thing that ended up turning out great. Do you know what I mean?
To breaking down the metrics, you got 12 laughs in the first 2 minutes, so that's a laugh every 10 seconds. You had 44 seconds of audience reaction, which means the audience was reacting for about 36.7% of the time.
I love the analytics of it.
Heads in the crowd? Any heads? Great, you're like, yes, I know it's emotion. Castle on the Hill, it's a beautiful song. Beautiful song, it's kind of about growing up, you know? Castle on the Hill, it's about like losing connections with your friends that you grew up with, you know? Like, everyone goes to different paths in life, and like, you lose touch with people like you care about, you know, that you grew up with. And this one part of the song gets me every time. It's like, these people raised me and I get so emotional, you know what I mean? Because so I decided to text my buddy, and I was like, hey man, I'm listening to Ed Sheeran thinking about you. Which, yeah, I didn't realize it was midnight here. So it was like 3 a.m. back in Jersey. And I just booty called my best friend. Damn it. I covered up, I was like, it wasn't shape of you. I swear it wasn't shape of you. Because it wasn't perfect. I was like, darling, just dive right in. It was a weird FaceTime, guys. Weird FaceTime between friends.
How do we feel about that setup and then that string of punchlines, which you reignited that laugh about 6 times with like, you like rode the wave, and then when it was coming down, you like knocked it back up again, and you knocked it back up again.
And then I kind of just want to like show that like, I'm not a good singer, but I love singing.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, we're all karaoke kings, you know?
Singing or doing anything, juggling, anything in your stand-up that will not happen the rest of the stand-up night. Like I used to do musical songs, and the other comedians hated me on sets, but the audience liked it because it was something different. As long as you can integrate it, I feel like it helps you stand out, and it helps give a different like flavor to the night.
I always love when someone comes up with a guitar or something too. It's always like, I'm so jealous of it because I don't play guitar, but like, you know, I'm like, oh my God, like they're amazing. I mean, you know, do you do music, you do guitar and stuff too?
I used to bring a full battery-based keyboard up. It would be duct taped to me. I'd have to like crawl on stage. It was like it was the reason I stopped doing it, but for a while it was what my shtick.
I love that. Bring it back, dude.
Time, guys, weird FaceTime between friends. It's like, just turn the dark, dude. It's 12 o'clock here. Just a little emotional. Just a little emotional. I miss you. I love you. I miss you. Oh, wait, don't hang up. All right. Please don't hang up. I love you. Call him back at 3. He's like, I gotta work in the morning. I'm like, I don't. All right.
That was improv. That was me trying to ride more of the wave and just kind of add little remarks that I had.
It definitely worked. Like I forgot that the wave was longer than I thought. So really, it's like 9 times we reignited that laugh with like the I don't have work tomorrow. About yeah, it's just great. It's just great. It's just great in the moment.
They work in the morning. I think I'm becoming that East Coast guy that doesn't trust anybody though. You know what I mean? Like I'm becoming my dad. I'm becoming that guy. Like we don't have to be East Coast not to trust anybody. But I'm very skeptical.
I love this premise. It's a very simple premise. East Coast guy doesn't trust anyone. That's like 6 words and we're ready to launch into this bit.
I think as long as it's like personal, it should just be simple. You know, you don't have to build this big complex thing if you know it about yourself, you know? It's kind of how they say you should just have like a three word thing about yourself, you know? Like I started calling myself like a lovable Jersey guy.
I've never heard that 3-word thing. That's like, it's like for stand up to like start a personal bit, just like I'm the blank 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 guy.
Like you don't have to say like coming right out, but I mean, for your own point of view, I think that's how you find your point of view eventually.
So I like that. I'm gonna steal it. It's mine.
And I think it comes, I mean, use it. It comes from an improv thing too, where you just want that who, what, where right away.
Skeptical people, you know. And my dad's always been that way, like growing up. Like I remember being like a CVS or something. We'd be at the counter and we'd be at the front, and the guy'd be like, "Hey sir, do you want to sign up for a rewards program?" And my dad'd be like, "No, I'm okay." And you go, "Sure, sir, it's a free membership." And my dad'd be like, "What's in it for you?" Really? What's in it for you if I sign up for this shit? What's in it for you? Hey, nothing, sir. It's a free membership. He's like, nothing's free in America. Okay, you want some free advice? Get these Girl Scouts off the sidewalk. How about that, huh? $9 a box? $9 a box? That's how we ride. Put the shit in the bag. Let's get out of here, right? Give my kid a Snickers. I'm not paying for it. I'm like, Dad, are you robbing this place? What's happening? This is great.
So how do we feel about this dad act out?
I've changed it since then. I changed it where like I kind of got this note from someone where I kind of get more like East Coast voice with my dad, so it kind of like it kind of brings you into a character kind of thing instead of like it's just me kind of doing a voice. Yeah, I like the progression of this joke because it's just real.
Yeah.
This is how my dad was growing up.
It like builds on its own logic, and none of it feels fake. How do we feel the second 2-minute section went?
This was all like my regular material that I do. I think it went good just because I mean I didn't even look at it that way where you said I wrote that laugh for 9 different hits.
Yeah.
Which is I mean putting it after I'm like I think it went pretty good.
Laughs, we have 12 laughs again. So once again, a laugh every 10 seconds. That's exactly the same. We have 42 seconds of audience interaction time, so about 35% audience interaction time. It's about 1.5% lower, and I think it's because of that long setup of like that was empty space, and otherwise everything was a lot denser. So if we had something in that setup, it would have like blown the first 2 minutes away.
Wow. Okay. I like that.
Can I get the Whoppers too? I don't know. Let's knock this place up. Like he was like he wouldn't trust any, like I wasn't allowed to sleep over at my friend's house when I was a kid. You guys had to sleep out when you were kids? Yeah, I was never allowed, ever. My buddy Nick Anderson, the 5 houses.
Yeah, that's an example of what we were talking about earlier. We like ask the audience, but we're not dependent on their answer to continue our stand-up. And I love that that's built into this bit.
It's just trying to relate with the audience itself. You know?
5 houses down from us. He lived 5 houses down. And my dad would never let me sleep over his house. I'd beg him, but Dad, we just want to stay up all night and play Mario Party. My dad'd be like, well, I don't know who the hell Mario is and why you're having a party, because I'm 10 years old. You're coming home at 10, okay? That's okay, you're coming home at 10. Damn, he's like, I knew a Mario before, he was an asshole. I'm like, it's not the same guy, Dad, all right? If it is, it's weird, okay? It's not the Mario you know. It's not. Did you have a brother named Luigi? I'm like, who is this? Yeah, you had a fucking prick of a cousin named Mario, too, huh? Is that what up? Just going deep into the bit.
I almost wanted like, and he's a plumber, right? And it's like, what? We could have gone way deep with this bit.
Just to keep it going.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Just to keep.
Oh, what's got a bunch of fucking mushrooms?
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah. He's got a pet lizard. Oh yeah. Yeah. I got it. Like,
let me guess. Sometimes he has like a little red cape on and can fly. You know what? Deep into the Mario world.
Yeah. And if the audience pulls back on you, like, I got 4 more minutes of Mario material. We're doing.
That's so funny. I mean, you can definitely drive shit into the ground.
Oh yeah, it's real easy.
But I had to beg him too. Like, and one time I begged him, I was like, Dad, just please let me, this one time, just let me sleep over Nick's house. Like, we're all gonna be here, just let me sleep over. And he gave me a scenario. He's like, let me give you a scenario where I'm not gonna sleep over your buddy Nick's house, okay? Let me give you a scenario. Say you're having a good time, you know, Mac goes home, the party's over, whatever, you get together. getting into, you know what I mean? And, you know, all of a sudden we don't know what the dad's into. Maybe the dad's into some crazy shit, and, you know, he owes somebody money, you know, whatever else going on. You guys all go to bed thinking it's all fine and dandy, and someone decides to just come in and knock the door down and shoot up the place, you know? So somebody comes in and shoots a dad in the face, shoots the mom, shoots Nick, thinks you're his brother and shoots you too. What are you gonna do then? Like his dad works at Blockbuster. I don't know what. Like, what is that? Someone gonna kill an entire family because of late fees? You know what I mean? Like, what is happening? I'm not paying these fucking late fees. You get holy shit, is that Mario Party? I'm taking that with me. Everyone's dead. They won't know. One of my.
I could have slowed it down. Since then, I think I have slowed it down. I kind of scrapped this. Sometimes people, it's weird, this joke, because I talk about, like, killing an entire family. Yeah. Speaking of, like, driving shit into the ground. But, like, sometimes the reaction's like, like, they don't laugh at all, you know? Like, this is truthful. Like, my dad would never really let me sleep out, because he's like, what if someone kills the entire family? And I'd be like, I'm 9 years old.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I don't know what's gonna happen.
There are definitely some bits that, like, have a little bit of, I hate to use the word, like, threat or tension in them, and it's like some audiences it just will hit them the wrong way, and it's like one night it'll be golden and the other night it might hit someone wrong. Or if a joke doesn't work, it might not be the joke, it might be where you put it in the set or that particular audience, or maybe it's just like your performance of it.
Yeah, like that Ed Sheeran bit I do, like when I started doing that at open mics, like to start it off, it didn't work as good.
My favorite stories growing up though, we were down in Atlantic City, and my dad was in a shitty mood all day, just like the worst mood, 'cause my little brother didn't win the Pikachu at the water gun game, you know? So he was just crying for like hours. My dad's like, I spent fucking $20, you're not getting a Pikachu, all right? It's rigged. The water's like, it's not, here's some quarters, go win on the crane game, you know what I mean? And earn your prize, all right? What's going on? And we went to go get food, and my mom loved this Idaho fries place, right? So she got this big cup of fries, just like fries like towering all over the stuff. And we're leaving the counter, and the seagull comes down and knocks the fries out of my mom's hand. And my dad lost his mind. This is a true story. He grabbed a broom from behind the fries place and just started swatting seagulls on the boardwalk. He was just like, you sons of bitches! You sons of bitches! You want to ruin my day? Give me that Pikachu! It was the best thing you could ever see as a 12-year-old. I was like, my dad's losing his mind. This is great. The funniest thing though was the guy behind the counter was like, sir, we can just give you a free cup of fries. My dad's like, that's it for you. Guys, thank you so much. My name is Mike Perkins.
I always love this ending because it's such a strong callback. What's in it for you?
Yeah.
Because that line always gets a laugh. Yeah, I close on that all the time.
It feels more of a complete set when you do that, because the audience is like, oh, that's why he said that and that together. It's like, oh, I see that, because now they all come together. This is why this is a whole piece.
You know, if you have a joke in the middle and it gets such a big laugh on that one line, you have to bring that back at a certain point. That's the wrap up of your set. That's the wrap up of, you know, that's a wrap up of you. It kind of puts a little bow on top of it, you know?
We've just finished the final 3 minutes. Laugh-wise, we got 16 laughs. We got a laugh every 11 seconds instead of every 10 seconds, but we'd 70 seconds of audience interaction, which means the laughs were longer, so the audience was interacting with you about like 39% of the time.
Shit.
What would you do if you had to do the set again?
I still do all these jokes.
Every single one.
I gotta get rid of one of them. What I want to do now is I want to keep hitting the laughs even after I get a laugh. Is try to like find more tags, find more punches, just for these current jokes.
And then what are your don'ts? What would you not do that you did here?
I feel like maybe I was talking a little over the laugh sometimes, and maybe I could make it more of a bigger reaction time. This punchline works, but my setup is kind of like mumbled, or I'm rushing too fast or something, or, you know, like that's very useful to me now that you analyze, like I'm hitting those beats. Like I want to hit them even harder. You said I did 9 of them?
Yeah.
I want to do 15.
Yeah.